Hello again everyone. Now let's talk old iMac, shall we? In the last video I took this 2006 Core 2 Duo 20-inch iMac, which I'd forgotten I even owned, and got it running again and upgraded it a little bit. But we did end the video on a little bit of a sticky situation. Yeah, in order for me to actually test this machine at all under an operating system, I had to install Windows Vista because that was the only CD or installer of any type of operating system that I had lying around which actually worked on the machine. But now things have changed. I have come more prepared and I've got a proper operating system installed on this machine. And today we're going to run some benchmarks, play a few games, and do things that we would have done back in the day when this machine was new. And we're also going to answer the question of, should we really play about with this machine in 2025? And how fun can it be to muck around like it was 2006 all over again? So at this point we've actually got some installation media. Yes, I managed to find a copy of Tiger on archive.org, both the original CDs for this iMac, which I will put a link to in the description. So the next step that we've got to do is go into disk utility, because the SSD that's in there is going to need erasing, because it obviously had that Windows Vista install on, but that does that quite quickly, and it means we can actually get to installing the operating system easily. What I did have to do, as you'll see, is unselect additional extras and things like that, which would have been on disk 2, because I've only got one disk available to me at the time. But as you can see, once I've done that, it actually really installs quite quickly.
Huh. You know, it's amazing how quick this goes when you're not having to rely on optical media. CD bad! Oh god, now I've got to clean this mess up. It's everywhere. Oh, this is one of the most stupidest things I've done for a bit.
Yes, don't do that at home, folks. I highly do not recommend doing that. A lot of cleanup.
Oh yeah. We're booting into Tiger. Now that's something I haven't seen in many years. And be quiet. Steve Jobs. 0800 1066.
At this point, it's pretty much just a case of entering personal details, real or otherwise, and just going through all the setup screens and telling it what you'll want to do with the machine and where you're located, pretty much.
Ooh, take a snapshot. Oh, that is beautiful. Oh, that is beautiful. Oh yeah, baby. We're up and running.
So for the rest of this video, we're pretty much going to be seeing a direct capture from the iMac. I got this £16 HDMI capture card off of Amazon, and it works really well. The main thing I got it for is to increase the production value of what we're doing a bit more, so we don't always have to point the camera at the screen. So let's get started with the video capture footage. As you can see, we're now back in macOS, and I'm going to do something a bit fun, which people used to do all the time back in the day for YouTube videos. And that was opening every single application they had installed on their Mac. Now, this didn't really prove anything other than the fact that your machine could do it. I remember people in the comments section being like, oh wow, how can a machine open every single application at the same time and still run and not crash? If you did that with a Windows machine, it just wouldn't work. And that was a thing that kind of was true back then. The Windows machines tend to froze a lot more. And you see here, I'll close all the applications like I'm doing, and the machine will still be working absolutely fine with no issues. And on to the next test. What I actually did was found an old version of Cinebench, release R10, and this isn't something I really did back in the day with my older computers, run benchmarks on them, maybe one of the Time Spy or the 3D Mark graphics benchmarks, that's about it. But actual kind of processor performance and things like that didn't really worry me too much. So I don't really have a frame of reference for this benchmark, but there might be people out there who will kind of know and understand the performance of it more, but I just thought that it could be quite fun to see what the computer is actually doing performance-wise. And here are the numbers. As I said, I don't have a frame of reference personally, but we have what I assume is a single core score of 2,346 Cinebench points, and a rendering multi-core score, which I assume is, yet again, 4,388 Cinebench points at a 1.87 multi-processor speedup, whatever that is, and an OpenGL score of 4,260 Cinebench points. Yeah, I know what these figures mean. Well, let's get into some gaming now. Now, I'm loading up here Unreal Tournament 2004, which is just one of my all-time favourite games. And yet again, games I used to play back in the day when these machines were current. I did play this on Mac as well. I'm pretty sure I played this on a G5 Power Mac once upon a time too. And it was a good experience then, and this experience is pretty decent too. There is screen tearing because there's no VSync enabled by default. I think you might be able to enable that in an INI file. I'm not entirely sure if that can be done, but overall this is running at the native resolution of the panel with kind of high settings, and it looks good, it feels good. There are no noticeable slowdowns, nothing like that. And the game, it just runs good, it runs great. And yeah, it's a good time to be able to play this. And in fact, I think what I'm going to do is move on to another map and show you what the performance is like there as well.
Play.
So we're on another map now, and yet again the performance is pretty similar. I'm not actually sure, however, what FPS numbers it's putting out, because as far as I'm aware, there are no FPS tools to actually measure the metrics on these older machines. Apparently you can do it, I think, by assessing the actual video capture footage. I don't know how to do that. If anybody does know how to do that, they can let me know in the comments. That would be kind of nice, because I feel like that would be really good to add performance metrics into the videos of what I'm doing here. What's also been quite fun recently is I've realised you can get Unreal Tournament 2004 back online as well. So I'm thinking of hosting some game nights myself on a server. So if there's anybody out there, any subscribers, anybody that fancies joining me to play some games of UT 2004, then also let me know in the comments, because yeah, this is such a cool game and it's still fun to play in 2025. And the last thing I want to show you is the lighting effects here. Now, this is a game from 2004, and I still think it looks great. Like, look at all the reflections, look at everything like that. You can't tell me that doesn't look nice, even now, right?
Sorry for the quick thaw, Master Chief. Things are a little hectic right now.
Halo Combat Evolved. What a fantastic game, and a game that was originally meant to be a Mac exclusive before Microsoft bought Bungie and ported it to the Xbox before the Mac. Now, this is one of those games where I'm running it at full resolution for the panel yet again, which is 1680 by 1050, I think it is. And it runs mostly okay, but there are some slowdowns. Usually it's when there's in bigger fighting scenarios or there's lots of explosions and things like that. But it's still very, very playable. I think my best option would probably be to turn down the resolution, maybe 720 or something else, 1440, 900, whatever it is, and it would probably run that a little bit better. But overall, quite playable, and it's a game that I could easily play on this. And as you can see, cutscenes also look pretty good too.
Now would be a very good time to leave.
Now we've got to touch on some productivity. Video editing. Now that's something I used to do a lot in this era of Macs. Intel Macs on my 2007 Mac Mini. Used to film a lot of videos for YouTube, edit them there, all in iMovie 06 or iMovie HD. And I tell you what, it was a breeze to edit in, and this was stuff all captured from the iSight camera here. And this is what YouTube looked like back in roughly 2006 with your iMac and your iSight camera. Now we've got the camera, which is a standard definition camera, and we've got the audio from the microphone, which is okay. But this is what people used back then. This was good. And obviously back in the day of standard definition YouTube, it was perfect. A lot of video content back then was people vlogging and broadcasting themselves and putting the U in YouTube, rather than people making feature-length movies and using fancy cameras and stuff like that. And clips like that were edited in things like iMovie HD or iMovie 06, whatever you want to call it. And that is what I used for most of my early videos back in the day when I was making YouTube videos. And the great thing was, simple edits like this were really easy to do. And the last thing we're going to talk about today is Photo Booth. Now, if you were like me, you probably wasted a lot of time taking silly selfies with filters and with distorted faces and all sorts of strange stuff back then, because we didn't have smartphones, did we? And we didn't have selfie cameras which could take these silly photos. Oh yeah, everybody on MySpace, everybody on Bebo and Facebook had silly eyesight captured photos, all done in Photo Booth. And my oh my, did we all look beautiful. And there we have it, the faithful 20-inch 2006 iMac. Now, I had a lot of fun filming this video and just playing around with it again, going on a huge nostalgia trip of what it was like back when these machines came out. Now, we're not done with content on this machine yet. Oh no. Some of you may notice I didn't play around with any audio apps, and being in a studio and being a musician, surely that was an oversight, right? Now, I've got a plan with this machine which involves making music on it, writing a song, recording everything, editing all the audio, stuff like that, like you would have done back in the day, except with a bit more of a modern twist and trying to push it to its limits a little bit more. Now, that video that I want to make is going to take a little bit of time, so that's something I'm probably going to film in dribs and drabs as the year goes on, so you won't see it just yet. But I'm hoping that's going to be a fun little project that once it's done will be worth watching and will be worth the time. But until that video is ready, that's pretty much it for this machine for now. I don't know what I'm going to do with it once I'm totally finished with all the projects. I might keep it around, I might move it on, but we'll see. For the meantime though, I'm probably going to dig it out once in a while and play some old games on, maybe just muck around with. And it's just nice to have a machine that runs OS X Tiger. I don't have any machines which have actually got Tiger installed on at the moment. And I also hope that you've all enjoyed the way I recorded this video, with a lot more production thought put into it, using voiceovers, using a capture card as well, and looking back at the footage from that capture card, yeah, I'd say that's pretty alright. And that's all stuff I plan to use in the future too as we move forward. Including this thing here, which is a Panasonic Lumix with a proper set of lenses and things like that. I need to spend some time getting my head around it, because it's been a long time since I've used a DSLR. But hopefully as well for certain shots and filming things, that'll also work out quite nicely. But until next time, as always, I am Will, this is another random tech video, and I'll see you in the next one.